The MP Okodi, when you have 4 years, so I guess every month I said when you have 4 years, and so Chobia already MP 12 years, 20 years, blah.
Governor New Patriotic Party mourning tonight following sudden death of Deputy Finance Minister and MP for Jusu, John Kumah. The news left Parliament unable to continue its sitting today.
Honourable members, sitting is accordingly suspended. For good reason, the House will have to adjourn.
We have details from Parliament on the day MPs were already admonishing each other to take care of their health and requesting better conditions of service for retired MPs.
You see your colleague coughing is there, and people are already wearing t-shirts and dancing around and jumping to replace him. Nobody's thinking about his family.
Nobody cares about you after here. They need you only when they have an emergency.
Tributes already pouring in across the political divide on the day the NDC announced Professor J. Nano Pokwaagyemang as John Mahama's running mate.
And therefore, the nomination, the name for the running mate, as you know already, is Professor Nana J. Pokwaagyemang. She will be the running mate for the NDC count 7
The MP Okodi, when you have 4 years, so I guess every month I said when you have 4 years, and so Chobia already MP 12 years, 20 years, blah.
On the day the NDC announced Professor Jane Nano Pokwaagyemang as John Mahama's running mate, the death of Deputy Finance Minister John Kumah left shockwaves across the political divide. The death of the young politician, 45 years, brought sitting in Parliament today to an abrupt end. There have been tributes already beginning to pour in from across the political divide. The President himself has been speaking about this, and we will bring you that pretty shortly. We'll also bring you the very latest and what is happening in the Ashanti region. And it's the Ashanti region where I go right now, to his constituency, where he was a sitting member of Parliament. My colleague Nana Boakye Yadom is in his house right now, has been talking to people there.
It has been a very sad day here in the Ajuso constituency, especially at the house of the late MP for the constituency who doubles as Deputy Finance Minister John Kumah. Well, his demise has really brought a lot of constituents into a very sad mood. Since 2 p.m. when the news really got out there, some of them have been saddened and have been coming into the family house to mourn with the family. We are currently in the house of the former MP, or the late MP John Kumah, and you can see a number of constituents from the Ajuso constituency, party faithfuls, who are gathered here to mourn with the family. They are saddened by what has happened to them today, especially in a mood when they really did not expect this to come into. Party executives have been here. The party chairman, for the Ajuso constituency has been here. He says he would not want to speak to the matter because he's saddened by the news. Not long ago, you know that the MP, John Kumah, donated some amount of money to the Ajuso Senior High School after rains took off their roof. And so this thing coming out has been a very sad one for the constituents and residents of the Ajuso constituency. We are being told that yesterday he was expected to be at the Independence Day parade in the constituency, but when his illness really got critical, he was unable to attend. And so he got into his room. He was in his house here with his wife, his family, and up until today when the news got out there that he was no more. But then he was being taken to Accra for him to board his flight to Germany to receive treatment. On his way, he passed on at the Suhum Government Hospital. I have a spokesperson here with me to tell us more about what really happened, and then because he was really with him and what he knows could have led to this unfortunate death. Thank you. You're live on Joy News. Tell us more about what really happened today.
Well, it's a sad news. MP came to constituency last Tuesday for 6 March parade. So he was supposed to come to parade grounds yesterday. Unfortunately, he could not come. So we decided to call one of his doctors from Accra. So the doctor came yesterday, and he was in medication. So it came to a situation where he need to board a flight to Accra so that he take to Germany. Unfortunately, he was not fit to board a flight. So his wife came, and obviously his mom and dad is around. So we decided to brought ambulance to take him to Accra. And his senior brother was also standing by. His office were doing everything possible for him to travel tonight. When they passed to Suhum, the situation get critical. So they take him to Suhum Hospital. When he there, they pronounce him dead. So that is the situation. It was a news we least expected, because Dr. John Kumah, we know, is called Mensah Boafo. In fact, people call him Mensah Boafo. Emebrani Daso. Or is somebody when you come to Dr. John Kumah, you know if cannot solve your problems, or at least he will solve some. So it's a tragedy. It's Black Thursday for us. And the Juso constituency, we are mourning our MP, our boss, our friend. Kumah is very humble person, extremely humble. So it's great, terrible news to us.
Looking at the work that he has done in the constituency, you call him the Mensah Boafo. I can see a number of constituents coming here to mourn with the family. What is the state of his family at the moment? I know definitely it's a sad one in there, but then are they fine? Are they okay? How did they really receive the news?
His mom and dad, they are aged, because they're about 10 days ago where his dad celebrated his 75th birthday. So it's not easy. It's not easy. They are taking enough pain. Yes. Unfortunately, he was with his wife. That happened when the situation happened. So his wife is in Accra right now. That is what I can say.
Okay, so his wife and his children, they are all in Accra?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And that is the spokesperson for the Member of Parliament for the Ajuso constituency and Deputy Finance Minister John Kumah. He says that the family, especially his wife and his children, are all in Accra, going to mourn with the other family members there. But then inside his private residence here in the Ajuso constituency, you have a number of residents who have been here who are crying, who are mourning, who are saddened by what has happened today. They say it is a Black Thursday for them, and so they really are saddened by the news after it broke. Let me.
And that there is Nanabuachi Yadom. They're reporting from the residents of the Deputy Finance Minister, who tonight is no more with us. He passed, as we've been hearing earlier today. And I want to bring in right now the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei Mensah, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Simon, thanks for your time here on Top Story. Hello, Mr. Osei Mensah. Hello, Mr. Osei Mensah. I'll get his attention pretty shortly. And he's a man who knew John Kumah closely. His constituency at the time, he himself was a stalwart as far as Ashanti region is concerned, in the constituency that he himself was the MP of, shared a border. And so they were very close. Joins us now. Mrs. Mensah, thanks for the time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much.
It is indeed a tragic day, and I know you knew him very, very well. What have you been told? What happened really?
All right, thank you very much, and greetings, Dr. Council. But very unfortunately, this was a tender blue something in our heart. Actually, I've known Honorable John Kumah for a long while, even before he became Member of Parliament. Actually, when he later the intention of contesting the local seat, that time I was a Member of Parliament for something. He even approached me. We had discussions. And that time, we've been very, very close friends. We share common friends. For instance, Mr. Atabinte, who is CEO of the Justice, is a common friend. The former Chief Justice, His Lordship, Amin Yabua, is a common friend. There's one Dr. Boaki. So we meet often and have very fruitful discussion quite often. Just about a week ago, or a little about a week, we even met at Offenso Mahima program at Gabin. And we were together having several conversations. Even before then, he had paid a courtesy call on me together with the new finance minister, Honorable Amin Adam. And we had very good discussion. So then I told him that, John, now I think you are looking better. And then he said, yes, after coming or returning from Germany, now things are far better. I can see that I'm very healthy. Nobody thought he was going to die. It's a dumb, brilliant guy who has a very bright future. And to lose such a man at this time, it's a big blow to our country. It's a big blow to our party. It's a big blow to this country. I think our faith rather that if the lack of the need to do what they do, I can't comprehend. Intelligent people like that. And just as a way of talking for now, the family about let's talk later. I beg you.
And I know this is a very difficult moment for you. And you talked about the fact that you told him when you saw him that he was looking better. And that, as you can imagine, is a very, very difficult time for a lot of people who knew him. As Simon Mensah is the Ashanti Regional Minister. When he was a MP, his constituency shared a boundary with his in the Jisu. They were very close. He's just given us an insight into what may have happened to him there. He wasn't well. He's been to Germany, as you just heard him say, receiving some medical attention return. He says he saw him and told him that he was looking better, and he responded yes. After the treatment he received, he was recovering. Nobody expected that this tragic outcome is what indeed would have happened. I want to bring in my colleague Nanabuachi Yadom, who's been in his house right now. Nanabuachi Yadom is on the line with us, and he's going to give us a bit more. And then you've been in his house. I've heard you talk to his spokesperson about what really happened. From the narration that he gave, he may have given up the ghost in the Suhum hospital.
Yes, actually, In fact, I wasn't aware that he even came for the weekend. It was hello. It was later when I heard of the death. Evans. Hello.
Simon Mensah is still with me, and I want to hear him. Mr. Mensah, you were making the point about where he died.
Yes, actually, when I heard of the death today, then I called the constituency chairman for briefing. So that time I was told that he came down to the constituency with the intention of attending the 5th March parade. Unfortunately, during the night, he fell sick and could not make it to the parade ground. So he requested the constituency chairman to represent him at the parade. And then during the night itself, the condition was getting worse and decided to rush him to Accra so that he could plane to Germany for further checkup. It was on the way that they had to branch to Shulum Hospital because they realized that the situation was deteriorating very, very fast. Very, very fast. And at the hospital that he could not make it. It's a very sad situation, a very pathetic situation. Both for the family, for people of Ashanti region, the New Patriotic Party, the government, the country as a whole.
From what you say, he's been
bright and intelligent guy.
From what you say, he's been unwell for some time.
Oh, even he went to Germany for treatment before the Christmas holiday. So he was rushing back so that he could plane to Germany to further seek medical attention. And that is when he couldn't make it on the way to Accra. You know, they had wanted to use the domestic flight. They realized the condition was that it was more risky. So the best thing was to use with an ambulance.
As him driving from Kumasi to Accra and then airlifting from Accra to Kotoka International Airport to Germany?
Because, you know, the domestic flight, they were not sure if he got worse on the flight. There was no medical doctor to take care. So they felt in an ambulance with medical doctors. Yes, so that the medical team could have taken care until he got to Accra. And then efforts were being made for him to fly to Germany to go and continue with the medication. That is on the way that he couldn't make it.
I mean, it's a tragic day indeed. Do we know what really was wrong with him?
I can't tell because I don't have his medical report. Even it was when he paid a courtesy call made with the new finance minister that he informed me that he just returned from Germany. Yeah, and for medical checkup. So I couldn't discuss with him what was actually wrong. That one I couldn't discuss.
We've lost him, obviously, in tragic circumstances. How do you remember him? What's your fondest memory of him?
I think I've said it earlier. I remember this is an Apawu guy, very humble. He loves everybody, both the young and old, both superiors. So he has been my friend. As I said earlier, we have common friends. And I mentioned some of them, like Mr. Chabipa, who is the CEO for Nima Industries, the former Chief Justice, Yabua, Dr. Boacho of Anyam Clinic, the constituency chairman of Ejoso. We are all friends. The constituency chairman for Ejoso has been my friend for almost 30 years. Exactly. Although there are several common friends, and we have been meeting to have general discussions, some of them about the party, some of them about the region, especially when it comes to the road sector, how he could help us get some payment for some of the contractors. So he's been very friend. And I've known him when I was member of parliament for Bosomchi. When he had the intention of contesting as a member of parliament. Because we share boundary, he came to me for us to have some discussions. And since that time, I've known him. He's a very brilliant, intelligent guy. It's painful that we've lost such a person.
And our condolences indeed to yourself, and especially to the wife and the 6 children. And then there's a lot that we are beginning to learn tonight about the circumstances surrounding the death of the Deputy Finance Minister, John Kumah. And as you can hear in the background, we've just been listening there to Simon Osei Mensah, who is the Ashanti Regional Minister, talking to us. But you could hear just see the devastation in the background, the wailing and the crying that is engulfed the constituency. My colleague, Nanabuachi Yadom, has been talking to the constituents, and he joins us right now. And then you've been to both the party office and also to his residence, and it's a pretty mournful period, is it not? I mean, the sort of testimonies you're hearing of who he was, but also the sheer tragedy that has befallen the people there, and he expressing it and not holding back. A few people my colleague spoke to, talking to him a short while ago.
Something. Me cry nipa no di kan frame no frame fifrat house na me se nye no kre ma nye ni. Nti me ne je achinyi no se Abigail me ka sem a o ji machinyi wo kra se wo fie na me se me wo fie. Nti o ka te me na me se da bi me frame me PM. Na me frame me PM. Nti me frame PM na se me PM susu. Na me wo kwa kra me fa so me bo. Afa me wo dia me nya. Me MP me boni o. Ni pa boni fu obi adiewu.
Okay, so what she is trying to say is that she heard of the news from her PM in the afternoon. When she first heard it from elsewhere, she really did not believe it, but then she had to confirm from one of the party executives, and then upon calling the party executive, she got the confirmation that indeed the member of parliament for the Ejusu constituency is no more. Money John and Piachum Kumah at the constituency hadn't say no. Emu to say, Onimudi the same.
Dear, when you be in a year, Onimakwala, Onimpenini, or the do Satum Crow, Beddi, Ontraneho, or boy, a break to Joshua Tuni, dear man, Sam Boafua, no, I just say, raining near, just our boy, and your John who say, yeah, family cry you more, Joshua, and you're not anymore. Now, me cry, and rank one pony me dinkra, Nami names a me MP. Me na me nim se me people be uno and run kwan on me dinkra na se wonim se obeja me ho na me su de na me nim.
Well, she's really saddened by the news. She's
Papa na me wo fuom me tie we fra me ya mame o mame wo ba na esi wu oboka me manye
And pretty tragic moment there in the house of the late Deputy Finance Minister. I want to take it to Parliament now, and my colleague Kweku Asante joins me right now on the line. And Kweku, today Parliament was forced to adjourn when they heard the news. Has this now been formally communicated to the House?
Today, quite coincidentally, MPs were discussing matters of death of their own colleagues. Were paying tribute to some 2 MPs who already passed on. And it was amidst that conversation that a message was passed to the Speaker of Parliament. And I was just looking at him in that reaction. He just slumped back into his chair. And he was speaking, but for the next 5-10 seconds, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagman, was just quiet. He was quiet for some time, and the news was filtering to the minority and majority leaderships were all conferring among themselves. And it was at that time that we got the indication that some really bad news had come. And then the Speaker of Parliament just spoke that certain matters have compelled him to suspend matters. He suspended that sitting for about 10-20 minutes. The House came back with leadership having been conversing about this death of the former Deputy Finance Minister and Member of Parliament for Ejusu, who was already who was actually in Parliament this week. And so officially, MPs have not been informed because the Speaker of Parliament would want to wait for the family to inform him about this death. But because of the urgent of the nature and how the mood of the House had become, I've not answered the Deputy Finance Minister. I could sense that she was weeping uncontrollably whilst on the floor. The finance ministry issues and all these things that have come up, the Speaker of Parliament decided, together with leadership, that the House could not continue doing the business that they are scheduled to do, and they had to adjourn.
Is accordingly suspended. For good reason, the House will have to adjourn.
And Kweku, you make the point that even before this became an issue on the floor and before parliamentarians got to know that this tragic event had indeed happened, they were already talking about the health of MPs.
In fact, Mensah Mubarak and other MPs were eulogizing some two MPs who have already passed on. And Mensah Mubarak makes the point about the need for MPs to take care of themselves, and that indeed, if an MP were to fall right now and were dead, even before the person would be buried, people will be clamoring for their seats. And so it is important for MPs to put their health first and ensure that they are almost always in good health.
Because beyond this house, believe me, nobody thinks about you. If you think anybody will be thinking about you, forget it. Look, I don't know, you, those in the chamber today, you are lucky you've not seen any by-election. That result, oh no, we had Kumah. You see your colleague coughing is there. And people are already wearing T-shirts and dancing around and jumping to replace him. Nobody is thinking about his family. Nobody is thinking about children. Nobody is thinking about how the family are, the pain they are going through. They are just happily to replace him. So each of us who is sitting here, if you think you are this important, I'm reminding you, you are not important at all to anybody, including your own constituents. Let us build a family here. If you are sick and you have served this chamber for even 4 years, why can't the state take care of you? Somebody who has served 20 years, the state couldn't take care of him. He has to lament to go back home and die. Today is Lokwamo, Honorable Lokwamo. Who knows? Tomorrow it could be me. Who knows? It could be you. But we are not talking about the things that will protect each and every one of us beyond this chamber.
And Kweku, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe Sosu, who also comes from the Ashanti region, also had the word of advice for his own colleagues.
Yes, in fact, following from the lead that Mensah Mubarak had set, he also makes the point that MPs are not so important to their constituents just in terms of what they can provide. And so it is almost always important for these persons to ensure that they are in good health.
And Kweku, thank you very much for that. The reports there from Parliament today where the House was forced to adjourn on the back of the tragic news that the Deputy Finance Minister, John Kumah, had passed. And indeed today we're beginning to learn a bit more about the work he did both as a youth activist but also as the CEO of the NYEP, but also as the Deputy Finance Minister. So who was he? Maswala Bagba picks up the story.
A smiling John Kumah seen in what has been described as his last known public appearance. It was in February and it was the last time the public was going to see him. This was during the Finance Minister's tour of the Ashanti region. The Ashanti region, and also the Deputy Finance Minister. He's a lawyer and an entrepreneur with over 15 years experience in leadership, creativity, innovation, and resourcefulness in creating jobs and supporting youth development. As the first Chief Executive Officer for the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program NEP, he successfully positioned the NEP as the enabler of the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Ghana. Under his leadership, the program trained 7,000 startups in 2018 under the Presidential Business Support Program and supported 1,350 beneficiaries with funds. Proud to working for government, John Kumah was the founding member and managing partner of Edua Proche Chambers, a law firm. He also worked as the founder of Majak Associates Limited, a building and construction company. In November 2020, Dr. John Kumah received a doctorate in business innovation from the Swiss Business School in Switzerland. Before then, he had acquired a master's in applied business research at the same business school in 2019. In 2009, he had an executive master's degree in business administration from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA. It all began at the University of Ghana, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics with Philosophy, a Bachelor of Arts degree Law LLB in 2011, and a Professional Law Certificate from the Ghana School of Law in 2013. He was admitted to the Ghana Bar in 2013. As an entrepreneur by birth, a lawyer by profession, a politician by choice, a preacher by divine calling, he sees none of these as an accident but a call to serve humanity. He's a family man with 6 children and married to Apostle Mrs. Lillian Kumah. Statement on his Facebook page, President Akufo-Addo said he's deeply saddened by the tragic news of the death of the Deputy Minister for Finance, John Kumah. He said he knew him very well, both in his days as leader of the opposition and as President of the Republic, and his warmth, humility, genuine concern for others endeared him to all who crossed paths with him.
Is here. Batmat is here again. XXL clearance sale. Guaranteed savings. From now till the end of April, the big sale continues. Get discounts of up to 70% off sanitary wares, light tiles, waterproofing, and all other product families. It's the year to get things done. Visit our showroom at the North Industrial Area next to the Winners Chapel, Ghana. Don't miss out. Batmat, welcome home.
Ooh, things are looking up on this side.
When you upgrade to the enhanced GCB mobile app, you start doing more with ease.
Create a GCB instant account easily and conveniently with your GCB mobile app and start sending and receiving funds. All you need is your Ghana card.
Pay your bills, subscriptions, and fees to multiple merchants safe and secure.
Charlie, tap the app, open a GCB instant account, and experience the recoded vibe.
You're able to top up on all types of ECG prepaid meters with their special card readers and keep the power on. No worries, no stress.
With GCB mobile app, you can also generate prepaid and virtual cards to use on ATM machines, POS devices, and for online transactions.
Well, I pay my subscriptions and fees with my GCB mobile app conveniently.
GCB mobile app. Download now from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Upgrade your style. GCB Bank. Your bank for life.
Breaking news. Vodafone Ghana is becoming Telecel. Stay tuned.
You're live tonight on Joy 99.7 FM. This is News Night, and in the next 60 minutes here on Joy 99.7 FM, we are live tonight in the Ashanti region. In Ejisu, to be specific, where tributes are beginning to pour in following the sudden death of the Deputy Finance Minister, John Kumah, who is MP for the area. We're learning a bit more about the circumstances of his death.
Yeah, when you have 4 years, so I guess every month I said when you have 4 years, and so I'll be already MP 12 years, 20 years, blah. I just so are you ready, Papa?
We're also on your election headquarters. It's official. Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman retained as running mate to 2020 flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, as the party cites her vision for a better Ghana and integrity as a quality that made her ideal.
The name for the running mate, as you know already, is Professor Nana Ejima. She will be the running mate for the NDC. Come,
we have the very latest plus some analysis for you tonight. Also, CSOs and anti-graft campaigners joined calls for an immediate parliamentary probe into the National Cathedral, deeming it a misuse of public funds and financial loss to the state, with over $58 million spent on the structure so far, which remains at the foundation level. They demand immediate accountability.
Parliament has to convene them, summon them to the House to ask the necessary questions.
That he abused his power, executive power, in demanding the pushing of such a project. Somebody really needs to answer for the weight. It is tantamount not only to misuse of public funds, but causing financial loss to it.
Meanwhile, minorities accusing the majority side of intentionally stalling the processes to investigate the matter.
But for this delay by our colleagues on the MPP side, Parliament should have instituted a probe long ago, 6 months ago. They are refusing to submit membership of the committee from their side.
In business tonight,
we bring you more tribute from the business community on the demise of the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kumah.
And in sports, we hear from the head coach of the Black Satellites ahead of their opening game against Congo on Friday at the Accra Sports Stadium.
You want to stay with us? I want to take your views. Also, 055-11-11997. This is your election headquarters. And this indeed is your election headquarters. It is brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity. Also brought to you by CIMA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants and the AICPA. And tonight is the big news from the NDC. Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman has been named as the running mate to John Dramani Mahama, the NDC flag bearer for this year's general elections. Now, this comes on the heels of deliberations by the Council of Elders and the National Executive Committee of the NDC. The former Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast first partners Ms. Mahama for the 2020 general elections. She was highly tipped for this particular position that she will be retained, but spokesperson for John Mahama's office, Joyce Bar Mukhtari, described the process leading to the acceptance of the running mate nominee by the Council of Elders.
Well, so far, I think that everything has been cordial, very candid opinions expressed. I think practically all the elders of our party were present, and of course the party chairman and the general secretary and many others that I hadn't even seen in a while. I'm sure that mostly, you know, that these consultations can go on for days on end. What happened today is actually also instructive, that the consultations have so far gone on very, very well. There's really no acrimony, maybe just debates about what and how, largely the processes. I'm sure that each and every person has left the room knowing very well that this is exactly the nominee that John Mahama has in mind. They've all pledged their support. They've pledged to do their very best for the flag bearer and his nominee. And you know that in the next few hours we'll be going to the party headquarters where he will be presenting the nominee to the National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress.
So a name has been submitted. Is that what you're confirming to us?
Well, the name will finally be announced. But yes, a few names have actually been submitted, discussed. Some resumes have also been shared and discussed. So I'm sure in the next 2 hours, by all means, a huge announcement will be made.
Tomorrow is International Women's Day. Does it have anything to do with what's happening now?
Well, you know, personally, I hope that it will.
And that was before this announcement was made by Fifi Kwete after deliberations at the party's headquarters.
Her dedication, her vision for a better Ghana, she being an ideal candidate to be able to help the party to be able to win this coming election. So we can only express our satisfaction and our happiness about this choice. We believe it's a choice that actually will gladden the heart of the people of Ghana, a choice that signals our readiness to go into battle. And we believe that the women of Ghana, the young people of Ghana, all the people of Ghana will rally behind His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the running mate. even as December 7 comes, in order for us to be able to deliver the necessary victory, not just for this party, but also for the country as a whole. So this is the very short announcement we want to make available to you, to let you know that finally it's out of the bag. You now have the name of the running mate to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So NDC's tickets, the top and the second, are ready. In the coming weeks, we'll be moving ahead to make further announcement regarding other critical issues with our campaign, but we'll accordingly let you know when the time is ready. It should not be too long.
He explained that the running mate met the party's criteria. He explains what the criteria is.
First and foremost, the criteria. According to our party's constitution, the flag bearer of the party makes that nomination and consults with the Council of Elders of the party and the National Executive Committee of the party. So that should be the number one. You cannot get through unless that process is gone through. That's the first one. Now, what criteria are we looking at? In fact, I'm thinking the case of Professor Nana Jane. We've already gone through all the rigorous criteria in the past. So this is not like a new candidate who is now going to be examined for the first time. Effectively, she has gone through every rigorous examination, not just at the level of the party, but also at the level of the country. So you obviously see that to be an advantage. It's not like a new person who now we are going to be wondering what's going to be happening. Are there going to be some issues that we are not aware about? Are there some issues that the media is going to bring regarding maybe her level of integrity and stuff of that nature? So clearly, in terms of criteria, she obviously has met the highest possible criteria as far as the party is concerned and also as far as the country is concerned. But if you want a little more simple, we're talking about a running mate who obviously has got integrity. And I think there is no dispute about that. A running mate who, as opposed to another running mate that we have seen, is not going to be a completely discredited individual whose word cannot be trusted, who absolutely is an epitome of lies, of deception. It's going to be an epitome of honor, and that is critical.
I want to bring in right now spokesperson for John Dramani Mahama, Joyce Bar Mukhtari, joins us on the telephone line right now. Also joining me is the head of the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana, Professor Ali Dusedu. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And Joyce, let me start with you. So John Mahama has retained Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman. You're very close to the president. You speak to him on a daily basis. What was a primary quality that got him to say, well, she did well for me in 2020. Let me keep her on the ticket.
Well, first and foremost, a very good evening to you, Evans, and good evening to everybody else. Fantastic news, great news, news that we're all looking forward to. Yes, the announcement has finally been made, and it is indeed still maintaining Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. I am enormously proud because on the eve of International Women's Day, we couldn't have asked for a better announcement, for a better, more qualified female, for an individual that all of us have enormous respect for a woman who was trailblazing in her own right in many spheres of education, rising up to become the very first female vice chancellor of a public university in Ghana, who continues to work in the international and local scenes in education, in social science, in politics, has authored a few books, and has, to her credit, a great reputation worthy of emulation. Fantastic news, great news, welcome news.
And stay with me. Professor Ali Dusedu, it's really down to the numbers, right? I mean, we've seen what she brought to the ticket in 2020. They lost elections again. You've seen that she's been retained. Convinced that she can bring enough to the ticket now to get them across the line this time?
Thank you to you, Evans, and good evening to your listeners. I think this is not her first time serving in that prestigious position on the ticket of the NDC. Even though the NDC lost the general election in 2020, but they were able to reduce the percentage of defeat that they suffered in 2016 by half. So that was a remarkable performance, given the fact that you lost an election over 1 million votes, and then the next election you were able to reduce that margin by half, 500,000 votes. So, and also the fact that she she was somebody that the NDC flag bearer was able to work with during the campaign, suggests that she's somebody that he'll be able to work with when they eventually win power. And one of the most significant things in all the other contributing factors that flag bearers may consider is the most critical is your ability to work with the running mate. We saw what happened between the late John Wallace and the late Aka. If the two of you don't gel, it becomes very difficult for you to consult and to work together. And for the fact that the pair were able to work very well in the run-up to the 2020 elections and still continue to make appearance together and also individually contributing to the development and growth of the NDC since the 2020 election suggests that there are candidates that can work very well. But I also believe that the dynamics of this year's election is quite different from what we had in 2020, to the extent that if you take most of the variables and indicators that people will usually consider to vote, there have been a little bit of deterioration over the past 4 years, to the extent that the cost of living, welfare of Ghanaians, and then the access to healthcare and all those things, our indicators in the democracy index, corruption perception index, and all those things over the years haven't been stagnant, but they have been decreasing. So when you put all these variables together and bringing in a candidate that have been tried and tested, she has been able to do well because there were very little negative publication that they could have thrown at her. There was no debt they could have thrown at her since her nomination for the 2020 elections till now. And that's one of the things that you consider, that she's very clean, she's very neat, and has achieved a lot, and she's a woman, and all those things. So remarkably, I believe that going by the margin of defeat they suffered in 2016 and 2020, if they're going to work harder than what they did in 2020, in the 2020 election, they are actually going to close the 5,000 difference and maybe perform better with the same ticket.
And Joyce, already, your opponents in the MPP, they're spinning this as, quote, dada noir, to it, nothing new on the ticket. We're very used to them. This is known quantity. How do you spin this back in your favor, considering that they are both John Mahama and Jane are very well known?
Even better a safe pair of hands, better an experienced safe pair of hands, better a woman with enormous credibility and integrity, better a woman with a proven record of honesty, sincerity, better a woman that everybody in Ghana can trust. This is one woman that President Mahama can go to bed knowing very well that I have in this a loyal partner and running mate. I have in this an individual who loves Ghana, a nationalist, a patriot, and above all, a Ghanaian woman in whom each one of us is enormously proud. And you heard Mr. Mahama. I am proud to nominate Nana Jane as my running mate for the 2024 election. Let's be honest. How many times did President Akufo-Addo contest with Mahmoud Bawumia? So please, I don't want to respond to those sorts of statements. The National Democratic Congress has done the needful. We have gone out there to do what the convention requires, what modern political science requires, that women make fantastic leaders, women make great leaders. And we are telling every Ghanaian that Ghana is ready for a safe pair of hands for a woman who walks her talk, whose word you can measure in diamond, whose history is actually etched in the sands of time, who is arriving on this scene long after everybody has spoken to her goodness, to her kindness, to the fact that she is ready to serve, to work in the interest of Ghanaian youth, Ghanaian women, Ghanaian children, and work in the interest of this entire country.
You talk about everybody, both in the Council of Elders meeting and the NEC meeting. Was there unanimous acceptance of John Mahama's choice?
You know, after the very first and second round, Mr. Mahama put it very beautifully. We had international polls conducted and we polled a number of names. We did the same locally. I'm happy that Professor Alidu is on the other line. He's actually one of the individuals who years ago did some research that served us very, very well. I'm sure he hasn't forgotten. Nana Jane stands very, very tall. She's a woman that each and every Ghanaian is convinced can be trusted is credible, has demonstrable enormous credibility. Above all, her integrity is intact. Let me make one categorical statement that we are going into this election with a safe pair of hands, an experienced pair of hands, a woman who herself has children our age and grandchildren whose future she would want to see unsecure. Let me be honest with you. We are tired of the lies, the propaganda, and all the funny commentary that runs in and around our politics. I think that for while Ghanaians want a unifier, they want a patriot, they want a nationalist, they want someone who genuinely will work in all of us our interest. And I'm sure that you yourself would want to see a commitment to Ghana than a commitment to self. And that is what the ticket Nana and John Mahama actually represents for all of us.
In the party, though, Council of Elders, NEC, rank and file, is everybody else behind this ticket?
Oh, I have no doubt. And it was beautiful even in the room with the NEC. I mean, personally, that is actually where I was expecting that maybe there might be some, comments, etc. But funny enough, the applause that greeted the announcement was profound. And in that room, we had all of our executives, we had all our regional party chairmen and women, we had our women organizers, and each and every one of them is adamant that this is the way to go. And when Mr. Mahama said, still maintaining, everybody ran immediately towards him, and the room burst into enormous delight and joy. The reception was warm and profound. And I've listened to various commentaries in and around the country. I can tell from my social media handles and from Mr. Mahama's social media handles that each and every Ghanaian, remember, Mr. Mahama reiterated the fact that this time he tried even to use a very scientific approach. He had consultants here in Ghana, in some other countries, and an international group of persons who worked assiduously to help him arrive at this decision. So there is nothing that was left to chance. One thing is for certain, that the NDC is poised for victory come 2020.
Well, for you to do that, you need to galvanize your base, get them excited enough to get to the polls and vote in their numbers. Professor Alidu Sedu, does Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman bring that to the ticket? Has she got what it takes to excite the base? Does this retention of her as a running mate, does it excite the base enough?
Yeah, so definitely decisions...
Just a second, let me hear Prof on this.
So definitely within the NDC as a political party, if you look at the processes that has gone through, you definitely see that level of excitement. I must be honest with you. It's not every candidate in a openly democratic party. It's not everybody who support every candidate. And that's why no candidate has ever been able to win an election by 100%. There will definitely be dissent. But if you have majority agreeing to the ticket and accepting the ticket, they will definitely be able to energize the base. What I think should be the problem is connecting maybe the energized party unanimous support to the national level to be able to resonate with maybe floating voters and people that are largely apolitical to be able to come on board. And I believe that if you look at the personal character of the running mate, her demeanor, her professional qualification, and her kind of how she carries herself around, will definitely attract larger group of people.
But
and there have been a lot of Ghanaian people.
Many will question that and say, where's the charisma? She hasn't got the charisma. She hasn't got the razzmatazz, and can she stand on her own 2 feet and confront anybody politically? You know how politics is played in this country. Has
Evans,
she got that?
You remember, Evans, you remember when His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was elected? Nominated by then candidate Akufo-Addo. People said the same thing about him in the first elections. But subsequently, he gained the experience, and he has become one of the remarkable politicians you can talk about.
You're right, but have you seen that same transformation in Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman from 2020 to now?
Yes, I think she's doing better now than the first time she was nominated by candidate John Dramani Mahama. And if you look at maybe his support, his reach out, his party activities within the party and outside of the party, smacks of somebody who has learned very quickly compared to the very time that she was nominated. But also, Evans, moving beyond just the personal charisma and all those things, you also know that in electoral processes, the performance of the incumbent is very key in determining who eventually becomes elected. And basically, Ghanaians will also look at their current state of affairs, the events, how the country is being governed and how the country is being managed. And all those things will factor into the kind of decisions that they are going to make. So basically, the fact is that when people get fed up with a particular ticket, the alternative ticket becomes the best that you can select.
Joyce?
Yes, sir.
You wanted to have a say at this
Well,
question around the charisma and the ability to galvanize your base.
Beyond the excitement, even beyond the euphoria, what we need actually is an individual who is going to go out there and energize the base, support the leader and flag bearer in actually disseminating his policies and messages. We want someone who is going to be out there to buttress and reiterate the fact that Ghanaians need a safe pair of hands. They need a sincere and hard-working leader. They need a loyal, committed individual to partner with the prospective presidential candidate. Look, make no mistake, Nana stands very tall. She can hold her own. To work in a public university for as many years as she did is no mean achievement. To take up all the responsibilities and shoulder the sorts of reforms that she shouldered in her day as vice-chancellor. You should visit the University of Cape Town. The inventions that she made, the innovations, the amazing things that were done in her time. Remember, the University of Cape Town's medical school was actually established in her day as vice-chancellor. Then, of course, the vestiges that led to the law faculty started in her day as vice-chancellor. I remember something about STEM that she actually introduced, where the university became energy sufficient. All these things were undertaken under Nana James watch. She has raised 3 amazing young adults with amazing grandchildren. She is a well-rounded, well-grounded Ghanaian woman. And I have no doubt in my mind that the generality of the good people of Ghana can see in this fair persons who care about Ghana, who will run our affairs in all humility and deference to the mandate reposed in them by the 1992 Constitution. Remember that this is the step that is going to come into office to run the affairs of our country. Evan, things are not easy right now. There's enormous hardship. There's issues to do with safety and security. Remember that Ghana, for the first time, is even unable to pay its debt. We are also largely more impoverished than we've ever been. Corruption is at an all-time high. Who better at this time than a woman who has lived in this country all these years, run the affairs of an academic university of excellence like the University of Cape Town, and has come out of it unblemished. She has run the Ministry of Education for 4 years as a full minister, and there's no whiff of corruption in or around her. I have no doubt that Nana James, a former girls' prefect of Wesley Girls High School, will demonstrate to each and every one of us why she is capable, why she's competent, why she is the woman to partner John Mahama to deliver this.
And Joyce there speaks for John Mahama. Also joining me right now is the Deputy General Secretary of the Governing New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. Haruna, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you, Evans.
Well, I'm looking here in front of me. I'm looking at the performance of the ticket, the NDC ticket in the 2020 elections, and that included Jane Opoku-Agyeman. And you could see significant momentum that she brought to that ticket, because 2016, and I'm going to the Central Region where this is her primary constituency. If you go to the Central Region there, yes, you win the presidential in 2020, but if you compare to 2016, she closes the gap very, very strongly there, from 43% in 2016 to 45% in 2020. If you come to parliamentary, in 2016 you had 19 seats there. She manages to flip that to 13 against your 10. That then shows how strong she is on this ticket, and that she brings momentum to this. And in politics, momentum is everything going into 2024 elections. This must bring you a bit of a sleepless night, does it not?
This is not anything to the New Patriotic Party. Even, in this particular scenario that you are giving, Professor Nana James Opoku-Agyeman as the same old wine in the old bottle, not even a new bottle. It is not something that is sending any shivers to the New Patriotic Party. You've given a fantastic analysis. Remember, Nana Opoku-Agyeman was not standing for parliamentary elections. She was standing for presidential elections. And if you look at the performance of the presidential results, you saw that Nana Danko Akufo-Addo won over 10 seats, 10 constituencies by over the MPP as parliamentary. So if you look at that particular performance, it will tell you that Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman did not bring anything visible as compared to performance to His Excellency the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. If you look at the performance in the northern sector, which you yourself in your show have done analysis, a thorough analysis that can stand the test of time to show how running mates perform better when they come along with a good candidate. And I also heard about Prof saying that these performances that they have put through, you see that there is no presidential candidate in a second term bid to become president has been able to get Ghana a vote difference over 500,000. It is first in its kind that His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has been able to do. So for us, Professor Nana Agyeman Opoku is not something that is going to be a nightmare to us. Remember, in the last elections when she was a running mate, the wife of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was featured more even on their posters even than their running mate. So John Mahama decided to choose comfortability as compared to performability in terms of what to add to the NDC's performance. But we know absolutely that 2024 general elections is going to be won by Dr. Bawumia. It's not anything that the MPP is very much afraid. But we congratulate her for a second time of defeat, that where the MPP will be bringing their steering on their feet.
By the way, when are you also announcing your own running mate?
When the time is right at the right time, the MPP will announce our running mate.
And Joyce, so when can we expect this ticket now to hit the ground across the country? And I'm pretty sure there will be a formal unveiling. Hello, Joyce. Okay, I believe we may have lost her there. That's Joyce Bar Mukhtari there, speaks for the former president and the flag bearer of the NDC. You had also Haruna Mohammed, who is a deputy general secretary of the MPP, and also joined us earlier was the head of the political science department at the University of Ghana. As you know, election headquarters is always brought to you by Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity. It's also brought to you, as you know, by our partners who have been helping us do this and bring you the very latest across the political seizing, as you know. You want to join us with your thoughts also here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. Send me a WhatsApp 055-1111-997. Share your thoughts on the selection of Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman as the running mate to John Dramani Mahama. Let me hear your thoughts on that here on Newsnight. Plus, as we've been saying all afternoon since the tragic news was indeed one that we broke here on Joy 99.7 FM, the passing of the Deputy Finance Minister. And George Affe is joining me now with business. I remember that election headquarters is always brought to you by Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity. Also brought to you by Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and they also help us bring you election headquarters together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, AICPA and CIMA. John Kumah is somebody you knew very well because of your work as a business editor here at Joy 99.7 FM, and this is tragic, unexpected from everything we've heard from Top Story to now.
You remember that interview in Parliament during budget that we had to get from him on this debt exchange program, where he said that there's going to be a haircut, whether it was a slip or we pushed him so much for him to say that. And it was the whole issue surrounding that development and all the rest, and later he had to come in studio to explain and all the rest. But indeed, a very affable person, open to debates. He is willing to join you, engage you on issues. Even when he's in the thick of affairs of work, he will still say that I will come for the program. And I think that engaging him on PM Express will be about 4 or 5 times on PM Express. And indeed a great loss. We're getting you more from the Ministry of Finance that has issued a statement on his work and what he did. And also be hearing from the IMF as he says that they are still evaluating the impact of this anti-gay bill. We're hearing from them. The business news on News Nights is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntax Tanks and Pepsodent Charcoal and Herbal.
Hear it, the freedom in our songs, the sound of liberty that rings from Kaswa to Karaga, from Tamale to Takrady. It's in the pestles that pound from coast to coast. It's in the busy offices, the crowded streets, and the noisy schools. It's in the wisdom of our elders and in the laughter of our children. It's in seeing how far we've come and looking at how much we can grow. It's in knowing that still Ghana go be. Happy 67th Independence Day, Ghana. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Hello, Auntie Araba. Hey, Bugger, how are you doing today? I want to buy Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, but I don't have enough money. So what are you going to do? Can you give me the big size? You know, as for me, I'll pay the balance later.
Today, no credit. I haven't sold much this morning. If you don't have enough money for the big size, why don't you try the 120-gram pack?
There's a 120-gram pack? Introducing the new Pepsodent Cavity Fighter in 120-gram pack size. More affordable and convenient. Get yours today from any supermarket near you. Every smile matters. This advert is FDA approved.
Water is needed all day, all night. So, remember Syntex tank all day, all night. 7 years warranty. Select any color for free. In no de crack, in no de spoil. Call Accra on 0244 335 168. Kumasi 0505 555 666. Syntex tank. A strong, a tough. Water is needed all day, all night. So, remember Syntex tank all day, all night. 7 years warranty. Select any color for free. In no de crack, in no de spoil. Call Accra on 0244 335 168. Kumasi 0505 555 666. Syntex tank. A strong, a tough.
In events, let's start first with a statement coming from the Ministry of Finance on the passing of Dr. John Kumah, MP for Ejisu and the Deputy Minister of Finance. And it says the Ministry of Finance expresses its profound sorrow at the sudden passing of our Honorable Deputy Minister of Finance and MP for Ejisu, Dr. John Kumah. That is today, Thursday, 7th of March 2024. Since joining, that is the ministry of 2021, Dr. John Kumah has been a valued member of our leadership team, driving reforms to restore macroeconomic stability and economic transformation. At this difficult period, we join Ghanaians and several well-wishers who are still shocked to pay to pray for his divine comfort for the beloved wife, children, and family as well. And even this is a statement that has been issued by the Ministry of Finance on the passing of the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kumah, and MP for Ejuso. Two other stories also be here in tribute from Dr. Patrick Isumin, who's been sharing some thoughts with us.
I heard Joyce saying that he was very upfront. I think when you engage me, especially, I do remember during the e-levy debate when it appeared that, at some point the e-levy was very unpopular. Many of the ministry officials were probably reluctant to speak. But you always hear him being willing to engage and then speaking, he was willing to take on the tough discussions and tough debates. That's something that I remember him. You would always not agree with him, but, he will argue his point vigorously.
That is Dr. Patrick Asumi, an economist, sharing his views on the passing of the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kumah. Let's do other stories. And the IMF says it is still evaluating the financial and economic impact of the proposed anti-gay bill. The fund had earlier stated that it had no comment on this issue because it is yet to be passed into law. But at the press conference in Washington, D.C. today, we sought to find out whether this has changed. Let's hear from Julia Kozak. She's Director of Communications at the IMF.
Specific piece of legislation, our team is evaluating the potential economic and financial implications of the legislation, and we will continue to monitor the situation closely. As we have said before, like institutions, diverse and inclusive economies flourish.
Julia Kozak is the Director of Communications at the IMF, speaking from Washington, D.C., USA. The Judicial Service could soon establish a special court to deal with the high loan default in the banking sector as well as other related issues. Now, that's according to the Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Iwa. The move is part of efforts to deal with the high loan default rate and other issues affecting the financial sector badly. John Iwa says a court, to deal with this issue might not be out of hand.
Here, I would like to thank the Honorable Chief Justice, her leadership, Justice Tokono, for all the work that she's been doing with us, the banking industry. She has actually promised us that she wants to make this her pet project while she's in office, to rid the system of all the difficulties and enable the financial system. Because if the loan recovery is slow, the ability of banks to lend more is inhibited. So, and she understands that linkage very well and has promised us. And as banks, we are also working very actively with her office to see how best we can collaborate to improve the recovery effort through the court system.
Johnny Wise, Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, an Association of Ghana Industries, and the Ghana Community Exchange have signed an MOU to create a platform for trading of designated agricultural commodities. According to the President of the Association, Dr. Humphrey Dake, this will help improve agricultural value chain and increase the bargaining power of farmers.
The Association of Ghana Industries believes that when we cement such a relationship with the Ghana Commodity Exchange, we will deepen the value chain and the supply chain activities from the farm gate to the consumer and from businesses to businesses. There are other products that will fall due in the same space. But it is so critical to start with the agriculture space because it has significant impact on our macroeconomic fundamentals. And therefore, if we work with the set commitment and transparency, we believe we can enhance and create wealth for our farmers and for the business community.
Dr. Humphrey Yimdake is president of the Association of Ghana Industries. And events on PM Express Business. Did you know this whole argument about affordable housing in Ghana? Is it a myth or a reality? We'll be getting the thoughts of a player in the private sector in terms of whether this is feasible or not. What are some of the challenges in providing those affordable housing in the country? He's going to be the executive chairman of Comet Properties, Nana Denho Chairman, to join us in studio tonight on PM Express as we talk about affordable housing in Ghana. A myth, a reality, what can be done to ensure that we realize this in this country. It's at 9 p.m. on Joe News and all our social media platforms tonight on PM Express Business Edition.
And thank you very much, George. You're still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. A few of your messages pretty shortly, but I want to take you to Kintampo now. In our Ghana Man series, we put the spotlight on the Kintampo waterfalls in the Bono East region, where 7 years ago, 20 revelers lost their lives. Management of the facility say the disaster, though painful, has served as a basis for improving the fortunes of the facility. My colleague, Anas Sabit, went back to the waterfalls where clean water still flows all year round.
Michael Afake Delali is the site manager here. He takes us through when the Kintampo waterfall was first discovered as well as its source.
Kintampo waterfalls is one of the major tourist attractions in Ghana. It was discovered in the 18th century by Nana Trema, and through hunting he found out that this is the wonderful thing that God has given to Kintampo. So over the years, from the 18th century till now, it has been a major force of attraction that many people come from far and near, from the north, from the south, just to witness the waterfall. The waterfall is in 3 stages. There is stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3.
7 years down the lane, how that particular incident has impacted this particular tourist site. Has it been positive or has it been negative?
I think post the disaster, it really helped the place. That is what brought some of the major places to come and look at the site. And I think the rehabilitation and the redevelopment, I think that brought the new stairs and a couple of structures and also made the administration a very functional administration.
In terms of visitations, Michael tells me there's been a massive improvement with the facility recording up to 26,000 visitations in the year 2023 compared to a figure of 22,000 in the year 2022.
Every year we do the annual statistics collation. So last year we were over 26,000 people visited the site. I think we did 22,000 the previous year, and last year we did 26,000.
With the 2017 disaster still fresh in the minds of many revelers, what are some of the major security measures taken by management to curb similar future disasters?
And also with the security agencies, normally when it's an occasion, they don't forget to come. I think if you were here for some of the festive season, you find out that when the fire service come, they conduct the canopy walkway. When the fire service come, they conduct the canopy walkway. The police also at the gate inspecting, and the immigration people also checking around. So I think and the ambulance is always packed at the entrance. So I think all these people, they come on board. And when they are in, I would say that it just tells us that we are actually prioritizing the lives of the revelers and not just the money.
And that there is a NASA Bits report from the Kintampo waterfalls, and a few of your messages now. This one in Agonu, Sena from Agonu says, my deepest condolences to the family of Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kumah. This one has no name, says, for goodness sake, Professor isn't going into a boxing ring with the MPP, is she? Kofi Ajiman says, Professor Nano Poko Ajiman is only a driver's mate. The choice of Dr. Bawumia will also be a driver's mate. The battle will be between Bawumia and Mahama. The driver's mates have only little contribution. Walanyo Inakwetia says, Professor Nano Poko Ajiman is welcome once again to be running mate of the NDC flag bearer. But it is still an old wine in a new bottle that will suffer another defeat come December 7. Kwesi in Kaswa says the NDC had no cause to replace or change Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman as a running mate to the John Mahama. That's all right with NDC. A nice decision taking. NDC, he says, did not lose at the polls because of her, so she cannot be replaced with anyone else. Jones says, I am deeply saddened by this huge loss. This should be a wake-up call to our politicians that building a good system here, non-negotiable. And the final one says, choosing Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman is like giving the Black Stars back to Chris Hughton. Not. And talking about Chris Hughton, let's do some sports. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Hello, Evans. Yeah, man, very, very difficult day for all the political reporters and all of that. Very difficult day. But we're looking forward to the African Games opening ceremony set to come off tomorrow at the University of Ghana Stadium, and later at 3 p.m., the Black Satellite, that's the under-20 national team, will be in action against Congo. That game will be happening at the Accra Sports Stadium. Now, ahead of that game, the head coach of the team, Desmond Ofei, says he believes his team is ready, and they have some assurances for Ghana that they will do their very best to keep the flag of Ghana high in the Africa Games.
Every tournament is different, but of course we are playing at home, so expectations are high. And like I said before, the boys are ready. We are ready to give our very best, and then let's see how the tournament goes. But game by game, we'll be ready. There's no pressure. You know why? Because I think, like I said, we are fully prepared. We really have a good squad. Our boys are ready and hungry, so we don't feel any pressure. There's only one motivation. Motivation is that one, we are the whole hosting country. I think that's motivation enough. And secondly, we are the national under-20. We are Ghana. I think automatically we are very hungry and ready to deliver. So to be honest, we don't need any additional motivation. We just have to come and showcase our qualities and represent the nation as best as we can.
That's Desmond Ofei. He's the head coach of the under-20 team. Well, President Akufo-Addo has also been speaking about the African Games, and he says he's not promising that Ghana will be able to sweep all the medals at the tournament, but he's hopeful that we will definitely be on the podium for some of the events.
I am not promising a Ghana clean sweep of track and field. That would be a miracle. And I'm promising a happy and exciting month for all our visitors. We in Ghana know how to set the lead. We did it in 1957 when we were the first African nation in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence from colonial bondage. We have got other firsts with doubtful boasts, but we have always managed to get out of difficult situations with amazing grace. We owe it to ourselves and to the rest of Africa to be that shining black star.
So that's President Akufo-Addo on the games over there. So the opening ceremony will happen tomorrow, but already table tennis. Ghana is completely out of the table tennis competition in both the singles and double competition. Ghana is out. The badminton is also underway. Karate is also underway. And we'll bring you an update in terms of the winning countries in the respective tournament over there. That's it for sports for you, Evans.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bao. Now, CSOs and anti-graft campaigners are calling for an immediate and extensive parliamentary probe into the National Cathedral project. President Akufo-Addo broke ground for the construction of the cathedral in 2017 at an estimated cost of $100 million. Now, the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, promised the edifice will be commissioned on the 67th independence anniversary. And as you know, that was just yesterday. Now, after 7 years and $58 million, the building remains at the foundation level. Tonight, former executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Vitus Azim, is calling on Parliament to initiate investigations into the project, insisting there are too many questions.
The state of the National Cathedral raises a lot of questions, needing answers. So I think that the Parliament has to convene them, summon them to the House to ask the necessary questions. And up to now, I think the audit has not been done or not finished. So when they finish the audit, then maybe based on that, more questions can be asked and answers demanded. It is a potential source of corruption, but without the investigation, we cannot conclude that it is corruption. If you ask the state of the project, then that will help you to determine whether the money spent is reasonable or not. There are too many questions that have remained unanswered.
I want to bring in right now the Vice President of Imani Ghana, Selam Brantia, who joins us on the line right now. So, Selam, $58 million already pumped into this, and it remains at this foundation level with this huge pit there. What do you do with it, though, considering you've already spent the taxpayers' money into this? Hello, Salam. Hello, Mr. Brantier. Okay. Unfortunately, for some reason, he cannot hear me. But as you know, yesterday, the minority attempted a symbolic commissioning of the project by seeking access to the grounds. Lead campaigner Okiditu Ablakwa, during a press conference, urged the immediate dissolution of the Cathedral Secretariat. He further disclosed that the majority side deliberately delayed the formation of a committee to investigate the Secretariat's dealings.
We are also demanding a publication of the Deloitte audit, which was promised the Ghanaian people on the 24th of January 2023. It's been more than a year since the National Cathedral put out a statement signed by the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Professor Pokonyina, that they are inviting Deloitte to audit. Since 24th January 2023, it's been more than a year. Where is that audit? We are demanding a full publication of the audit. Demand number 9, the MPP caucus in Parliament should desist from sabotaging the impending parliamentary probe after a unanimous parliamentary resolution.
Let's bring in now Salom Brantes, the Vice President at Imani Ghana, the policy think tank. And Salom, so a lot of money has been spent on this already, taxpayers' funds. It remains stalled. What do you do with it, though? Hello, Salom. Well, unfortunately, I cannot understand why the line is simply one that he cannot hear us, although I can hear in the background that he's there. We'll try and get that for you. But I want to hear from you yourself. 055-111-1997. $58 million already spent on the National Cathedral, and there isn't money anymore to go further. So what should happen to it now? You've had the calls for a probe. Salam is on. Hello, Salam. Can you hear me? Hello, Salam. Let me hear from you, 055-111-11997. And a few of you have messages that I want to read on the day when we had the tragic news of the passing of the Deputy Finance Minister, John Kumah. Major one in Kumasi says, even though presidential running mates have tremendous roles to play in elections, Ghana's 2024 election will be primarily fought on the achievements of Mr. Mahama as Vice President and Dr. Baumia also as Vice President. Nothing more, nothing less. And the final one says, my deepest condolences to the family of the late former Deputy Minister for Finance, John Kumah, and the entire Osono family. And a few of your thoughts there on the day when the news broke that the Deputy Finance Minister had passed. And right after me, you want to stay because Rita Dominic is on with Lexus Bill for Personality Profile. My name is Evans Mensah. Enjoy the rest of your evening.